Welcome to episode 14 of the Creative Train podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about some seemingly random things that can happen in your day-to-day life that actually mean a lot more to you on another level when you start thinking about it. Meaning, I was at a job interview just last week, and one of the topics came up about self-care. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. How does an artist take care of themselves? How do you do it? You set up a personal gallery. All aboard. In episode 13, one of the topics I talked about was this thing called imposter syndrome. You've probably heard of it, but if you haven't, or if you're not quite sure exactly what you think it is, think of it as having moments of intense inspiration, followed by feelings of utter inadequacy at some later time. And it's a vicious cycle that many creatives and other people find themselves in from time to time, which leaves you feeling emotionally stranded or spiritually, unanchored. Your wheels are spinning and you're not moving, or you feel like you've been faking it this whole time and everybody's about to find out. This particular mention of imposter syndrome was in reference to the fake it till you make it mindset, in which some of these folks are actually imposters. But in this episode, I wanted to dig into some coping mechanisms for feeling like you are truly living and succeeding in the creative lifestyle you've always wanted to have. This came up to me as a topic during a job interview I had a while back, in which the de rigueur questions about my employment history, etc., had woven into them a few very unexpected questions. I'm sure were put there to catch me off guard with potentially uncomfortable or unexpected situations or questions. There was nothing antagonizing about it. It's just the way people that are asking you questions like that work. The most notable question was, what do you do for self-care? And I thought for a few seconds and answered that I go to the gym as often as possible. I love to cook, I make music, and I meditate. And these just kind of felt like they fell out of my mouth as answers. They're all very true, but I don't really think of these as self-care specifically. It's just what I do. Where some people might have answered things like, I like to get massages or manicures or go traveling, all of my answers in my mind in retrospect look like something out of the introvert's playbook. I worried later that maybe all of these seemed like very selfish activities, but isn't that why they call it self-care? We do enjoy some family outings, but most of us aren't really the type to sit in situ in front of the TV and call that quality time for much more than an hour anyways. And we all mutually respect each other's need and desire for some solo activities. So following this interview, the podcaster creative coach in me started scripting this episode as I was leaving the building. And I thought it might make for an interesting episode that someone might glean some benefit from and make them feel maybe a little more buoyant and comfortable in their creative lifestyle. And that's why I called this episode Your Personal Gallery. Because my whole home from basement to attic is very much like a gallery of mine and my wife's creations. Every window, every wall surface in every room is decorated with something we either have personally made or have bought that we found beautiful. And this isn't an exercise in self-indulgence, but to us, it's a celebration of our abilities and our passions, and we surround ourselves with them constantly. And even if we don't stop to take notice of everything every day, those things are an intrinsic part of that fabric of ourselves, our family, and the home that we as creative people want to be in. I always go on about the, quote, vibe factor of things in these podcasts and in real discussion because it's of the utmost importance to me as an artist to feel that each space I occupy in my home should offer or present a vibe of fluency, authenticity, and capability in making things. And our home is hence a reflection of us and who we are as not just a family, but as creators and artists. Always when someone new comes into our home for the first time, they just kind of stop and look around and move slowly through each space, not quite sure where or upon what to fix their gaze. And this isn't a symptom of us being hoarders or anything. It's certainly not me bragging about it, but we are creative people and we are creating all the time. And the results of our efforts are everywhere. We've made very deliberate efforts to make our home a very vibe-centered, creative space where you can look around and hopefully see something that will inspire you as well. For us, it's both inspiration and affirmation at the same time. I've said it before, and I'll say it another million times, I'm sure, that artists are different. The truly dedicated ones surround themselves with art, with the tools of their craft, and the results of it as well. We cannot simply squirrel away our things and leave them out of sight and mind until the next wave of inspiration hits us. No, we surround ourselves with those things and make sure that the next moment of inspiration is seized and celebrated and never wasted. I totally understand that having a dedicated space for your art and craft is often just a dream of some kind of artsy luxury. I was there for many years in this same house as we were building and renovating. And for a long time, I actually did have to take out all my stuff, do my thing, and then put all my stuff back. When we were renovating, of course, because of renovation debris and, of course, small kids who like to touch blinky things and shiny things. And so this ties back into the initial comment I made about the title of this episode, Your Personal Gallery, and the notion of what I do for self-care. And when I bring the two ideas together, I'm left thinking about my home, not just my music and glass studio spaces, but also the windows, the stairwells, the beautiful costume jewelry displays my wife made for both bathrooms. Everything about our home is reflective of who and what we are as creators and artists. And I never feel ashamed when someone who really doesn't get it says something like, "Why do you have so much stuff?" To which I always say, it's because I do a lot of things. So what if you live in an apartment or don't have space for a separate studio in your home? Or maybe you have a partner or a spouse who isn't exactly supportive of your crazy artsy ideas. Something as simple as leaving a sketchbook on a table with a good pencil beside it can remind you to pick it up. And however small an effort it might be, pick it up every day and make something. Even if it's just a funny doodle or just writing some ideas down for a recipe you want to try, pick up the pencil and do the thing. I think we get too wrapped up in thinking that we must set aside hours every day to really get things done. But I think the real magic starts to happen when we surround ourselves with the simplest tools. We see them there, and then we are almost leaving them there as a reminder for us to do something with them. Or maybe, like me, you could put a ukulele in the bathroom. How cool would that be? To never again be self-conscious about bathroom sounds because you're masking them with music. I can't speak for the bathroom smells being covered up, but at least you're having fun while in there. We literally have instruments in every room of the house, and the grandkids go absolutely bonkers with them when they come. The noise floor of the house rises instantly and significantly and stays that way until they have to go back home. But I love it and I wouldn't want it any other way. If you're a visual creator, display your creations in as many places as you can. We have almost completely run out of wall space and without it feeling cluttered because all of the things are themed to go together. So they're like a mural or a tapestry of individual pieces. It's not a selfish thing to surround yourself with the things you create, because when you do that, you're not only celebrating your achievements, but also making your home a living part of you and making yourself a part of the walls that protect you and help keep you warm. You can have small prints made of your work and put them up in your workspaces. Take them to work. Have magnets made and stick them to your fridge. Design a logo and have a friend with one of those Cricut machines make you stickers or vinyl appliques and put them all over your toolbox. Put them on your laptop, put them on your bike and on your car. Yeah, I've done every single one of those things. And when I see them, I'm reminded of what I am and what I do. I am an artist. Some may look upon those things as self-indulgent, but no, you're not only adding some buoyancy to an otherwise hectic and what can be a depressing lifestyle, but you're making every moment, every environment you live and work in a more beautiful place because your art is there. As for the partner or spouse who isn't exactly supportive, I've been there, and I talked about it in the Who Do You Think You Are episode a while back. And it's a very tricky set of circumstances at times. Maybe your partner doesn't want to see your clutter or have you display your stuff in the house. And it's really hard to stay motivated and of pure intention when you're being bombarded by negativity and scrutinized at every turn. It's so specific to each person, each partnering. But if you can do some of those things in your private moments, like take out your canvases and look at them, or play a recording of you singing a new lyric on your phone. Sometimes it's the small things that get us through, but please remember to make these small things regular and often things. There's way too much going on these days to distract us away from following the trail of subtle energies our creative motivations seem to want us to follow. So take it all seriously and remember, it's the artists that bring beauty into this world, and you are an artist. There's your pep talk. Now go get to work. Yes, the simple things that we often overlook. And it's the simple things that we can do regularly and often. And believe me when I mention or when I say that they add up. And in short order, you've found ways to keep yourself buoyant, keep yourself motivated, keep yourself confident, not feeling like an imposter, but living the life of an artist. It's a truly charmed life.